Night of the Living podcast is always ad-free for patrons at patreon.com/NOTLP.
Welcome to Night of the Living podcast. Frights, camera, Hack-tion. Doing action horror movies this month. There's Andy over here.
Hey.
Amy, not but a stone's throw from him.
But not.
And I'm Freddy. And Jack, you remember Jack Handy? We were just listening to, this came up in conversation when we were playing Baldur's Gate with our friends the other night. Jack Handy was a writer for SNL in the 80s, and he had this great bit called Two Sacks. Yeah, Deep Thoughts.
By Jack Handy.
If you have never heard the Two Sacks Deep Thoughts, it's on YouTube. Yeah. It's like 30 seconds. Go treat yourself.
I find that as the show goes on, we have to explain our references more and more.
Because they're old references.
Yes, we're getting older. Yeah.
I don't know.
But I don't know
I
who
think,
our
again, our audience
is
aging with us.
We have a mix. Yeah.
Email us your age. Your age, sex, and location. If you could ASL it, crew@notlp.com. Just every one of you. If you could just real quick.
I'm always kind of confounded, like we don't collect demographic information as not really in podcasts, but I think Libsyn does in some way track that stuff, who is our syndication site. It's always been pretty interesting, but I'm scared of looking at numbers too much.
Right.
I don't want to take the fun out of what we do.
No.
But
I like it to be a mystery.
It's kind of fun, yeah.
But I find most of the people that I meet that listen to this show are a lot like me.
Yeah. You mean middle-aged?
Middle-aged, baby.
Yeah.
Solidly. Or heading there real fast. Living hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
1/4 mile at a time.
We're going to get to the main attraction in a bit. We're doing Werewolves, the new movie Werewolves starring Frank Grillo. And we're doing that because I never heard back from our winner for this theme. Sad. But we'll be picking a new theme at the end of the show, and a fresh name will be pulled from our mailing list subscribers.
I always love when we get a new theme.
Yeah, it's fun.
Shiny new theme.
Let's just make that the show now. Just pulling themes from our
pulling themes and coming up with puns.
Just never doing them, never following up.
No, we could just plan our show for the next 2 years.
I know. It could be fun.
Knock on wood that hopefully we're still lasting that long.
Be like the NFL draft. You can never plan too far ahead because you never know who's going to get canceled for doing something really horrific, and you're like, well, what do I do with this month?
Oh, are you talking about June?
June Van Damme. What was
Claude Van Damme?
Matt came up with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
But it turns out Van Damme has some allegations.
Yeah.
Well, that's not why I said that's. It's a great pun, Matt.
It is a great pun.
But it would just get very repetitive that month.
Yeah.
People get kicked in the head a lot.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
He shows off his tight little buns.
His tight little buns, does some splits.
He did another split. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But this time he did it on a counter.
He did.
Can you believe it?
He's going to kick M. Bison's ass so hard. Anyways, Origins is out. Amy just listened to a big whopper of an episode, right?
Origins is our origin story episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, big whopper, a 2-hour chunk of tangent.
Was it like a wrap-up episode?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, though. I highly recommend it. You have to be a patron, of course, patreon.com/NOTLP.
Yeah.
To get Origins. I recorded a new introduction to this old episode, so you'll get to hear a little bit of my thoughts on it now.
Yeah. Zoned Out. We keep those coming hot and hard every Friday night. If you can listen to that just on the regular feed here or ad-free at Patreon. So thank you so much for your support. We want to welcome Shayna into the fold of the Beelzebubs.
Oh, thank you, Shayna.
Shayna is a Beelzebub. You like
Ooh,
that?
she gets a song.
She got a song.
The installation is free.
Yep.
It's a Reno 911 joke.
Yeah, I love that episode.
Freddie has to show me up with his beautiful little improvisation there with his beautiful angel
He was a
voice.
professional musician, Freddie.
I know.
I'm how do you say?
How you say?
Man of leader. No. What do you guys want to talk about at the top? I'm trying to think of anything interesting in this world of ours that's going on.
Watched my dog poop and pee just before the show. So she's
How
doing
was
it, man.
Solid.
It looked like mostly solid,
Good.
but I wasn't wearing my glasses, so.
Well, like, should we say rest in peace to George Wendt, died a few hours ago.
I know.
Heartbreaker.
I exclaimed when I read the news. I said, "Oh my God, it's Norm."
Yeah, the greatest sitcom of all time. Cheers.
People are memorializing him with their favorite Norm quotes and quips.
Well, he's been at Horror Hound a couple times too, so like that's been my feed last. And I've been noticing everybody posting the pictures they took with him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and they got to meet him. Or the really funny moment that happened during his panel
Yes.
where somebody asked.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite moments at Horror Hound, actually. The
Yeah.
George Wendt house panel.
Yeah, with him and William Catt.
Yeah.
And what was the kid asked a question about a series. One of them answered it, but it was for the other actor.
No, I'm thinking of some guy asked him about this one episode of a show he did on Disney Channel, and the guy was asking him about like his experience on that show, and George Wendt was like, "I don't remember that show. I don't remember doing that." And it was refreshingly honest because he was like, "Sometimes jobs are just paychecks."
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. Like, I'm sure that show meant a lot to that person asking the question.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why he asked it.
Yeah.
But like, it's just George Wendt was like, I just did it for a paycheck.
It would be weird if that person were motivated to attend that just based upon that one appearance.
He
in
had
a
no
TV
idea
show.
about his other
his
credits.
oeuvre.
Yeah.
But rest in peace, George Wendt. You were great.
I loved him.
We were talking about other norms and sitcom stuff. I've been watching this old Canadian sitcom called Corner Gas, which if you're Canadian, you probably know because it was massively popular up there in the early 2000s. And I just realized that one of the producers, and I don't know if he was on the show from the beginning or not, but Norm Hiscock, one, has a funny name. And two, he worked on Parks and Rec and
Oh yeah.
all of those great shows. You know what I mean? You
Parks
know
Rec
Norm
and
Hiscock, Amy. You know him.
No,
Quit saying his cock.
I
I
feel
think
like
it's probably
you're-
his cock.
you would remember a name
Hiscock.
like that.
Norm Hiscock.
It does
maybe.
sound familiar.
Yeah, you know him. You're the one who I think pointed his name out to me the
you know
first
his
time.
cock.
You know his cock. It's a normal cock. Norm cock.
You know all about it, Amy.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that you don't.
Norm
You've seen it a million times.
Hiscock. He produced Parks and Rec. He did the kids. He worked on Kids in the Hall.
Right.
He was one of
were
the
you-
writers.
He was telling me that this show is so gentle and low stakes that there
Yeah.
was a whole episode about a bowl for a potato.
A potato bowl. Yeah. And how the theme of the episode is this potato bowl is supposed to be magic. Every time you cook potatoes in it, they're really good.
This show sounds so Canadian.
It is super Canadian. And the bowl gets broken. And then the lady at first is like, you broke the potato bowl, but then it frees her from having to make potatoes all the time.
Can you believe it?
That was like the thing.
When was this show on?
This is sweet.
Early 2000s. It started. Corner Gas
Well, how
started
many-
in 2007.
How many seasons did it last?
I think. Well, actually, no. It started early in 2007. I think there was 5 or 6 seasons of the live action show. It started in 2004. So there are 107 live action episodes, and then they have an animated series too.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Cool. Guess it was pretty big in Canada.
Yeah.
Only-
Potato bowls.
Well, Norm Hiscock also worked on King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, all kinds of good stuff.
King of the Hill reboot's coming.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Right.
Animated?
Mhm.
Oh, cool.
Everybody involved from like the originals.
As much as possible. Yeah.
Oh, good.
The yeah, I just think if you're missing that kind of show, that you can find these streaming for free, like on Tubi, the Corner Gas shows.
Yeah.
There are no stakes though, like zero. It's like Clerks kind of in some ways.
Is it like Schitt's Creek, but like
Yeah,
even gentler?
even gentler than Schitt's Creek.
Like, is it? I found like Letterkenny very low stakes too, and Trailer Park Boys pretty low
Yeah.
stakes.
Yeah.
Is that what can't Canadians do? Just low stakes comedy,
I think so. It's their whole niche.
Yeah.
and that's the only Canadian TV I know.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. It's real comforting. It's the same every week. Every episode is kind of just hanging out at the gas station.
Sounds like something you just turn on and turn your mind off, and even background stuff.
Yeah, it's nice, and you get so used to the faces that they kind of feel like neighbors after a while, and you just enjoy it. Just enjoy being around these quirky people.
Although I would say, like, as gentle as like Trailer Park Boys and Letterkenny is, and as enjoyable as it is, I can't tell you an episode because they all run together for me.
Oh,
true.
Because they're also like I said, low stakes. There's nothing that really happens.
Yeah, except for when the one guy goes hanging out with the D-Gens. What's his name? When he joins the D-Gens, the guy who smells all the time. They're always talking about how he smells like the barn.
Oh,
I'm drawing a blank.
Blonde
the
guy.
Character's name, not Squirrely Dan.
No, the other one,
and not
Clive. I don't know.
It's okay. I'll figure it out.
We'll speculate on Letterkenny later, on our own time, not on the listeners' time.
He's looking it up right now, Amy.
Yeah,
it's too late. Daryl.
I'm done.
Okay, good.
I think Freddy is more loyal to IMDb than you, Amy.
I know.
Yeah. IMDb has never let me down.
You know Amazon owns it, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Gross, right?
That is gross, but it's a great database.
I know.
Hey, we had to pick our battles, Amy. We can't boycott everything.
It's one fine database, let me tell you.
We still have our Amazon Prime subscription.
I know, I do.
Can't let go of it. Sorry.
Yeah. You know what's weird too is they advertise IMDb now. I saw an ad for it. Just weird.
Mm.
Doesn't everybody know already? It's been a staple of the internet since early internet days. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's also kind of weird just in general to see an ad for like a database on primetime TV or whatever, primetime streaming.
It's a real fine database, let me tell you.
So you saw an ad for a service that sole purpose is to get money from ads, basically.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it all comes down to money from ads all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they say it's turtles all the way down. That's the same. It's ads all the way down. In fact, you'll hear an ad probably here if you're not a patron.
You're going to hear ads. Sorry.
I apologize.
Unless you're a patron, and then you don't have to. But I mean, you know, whatever. Ads aren't, you know, the worst thing in the world. I listen to plenty of podcasts.
You wouldn't have a job if it weren't for ads.
I know. I also work in advertising. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm babbling.
Anyway, rest in peace, George Wendt.
Yes, rest in peace, sir.
All right, we'll be right back.
I babbled.
This week's main attraction, piping hot, fresh, 2024. That's new for us around here. We don't watch a lot of movies that are that fresh. Werewolves.
And we sure got him, too.
Yep, they're wolves.
There were werewolves.
Werewolves?
Goodness.
Yeah, so this reminded me a whole lot of The Purge. And you know what? Frank Grillo was in one or two of those as well. But it's this. Originally, this movie was called Year Two.
Has he been typecast as a vigilante?
He's a scientist in this.
I know.
He's a fucking scientist.
It's like along the lines of Denise Richards, a nuclear scientist.
Yes. Yeah. He just needed to put on glasses.
I'm not saying that scientists can't look like Frank Grillo, but it's a stretch.
Yeah. So Frank Grillo, he's Wesley. One of the biologists that's working on.
He's not. He's Frank. Come on.
Yeah. He's always him.
Yeah. Just don't even movie producers don't even give him another name in movies. Just call him Frank.
Like Tony
Frankie
Danza.
Grills.
Where was I? He's a doctor working on a cure for this Year Two thing. They're called, like I said, the original title was Year Two, and it was about the year before there was a supermoon. I don't know why we're getting more than one.
Lou Diamond Phillips explains this to you.
Right, in the opening.
That there was a supermoon that all of a sudden turned a bunch of people into werewolves, billions of people.
Yeah.
Now it's coming back again. This is the second time.
Now, is it a supermoon again, or is it just because the supermoon got this started? Because it's just a year. Can you have a supermoon every year?
I think supermoon comes. It's like you said. It's like the Purge. They have to when the supermoon comes again. All the people that got turned before are at risk of. I mean, they're going to turn again.
Yeah. And apparently, anybody who's in the sun and moonlight.
Yeah, get touched by the moonlight and you're a werewolf.
So a supermoon is a full or new moon that occurs when the moon is within 90% of its closest point to Earth, also known as its perigee or perigee.
And I like how they didn't try to explain it at all.
There was because we have so many questions, but you don't worry about the questions while you watch it.
Yeah. I just did learn that supermoons can happen multiple times a year.
Okay.
Uh-oh, well, shit.
So,
so we're just plagued with werewolves multiple times a year,
well,
not just
apparently
once.
This, for some reason, we only get it once a year in the movie universe. I don't know why. Do you?
Well, how
does it matter?
Doesn't really matter.
Your research that you did 10 minutes,
my 10 seconds of research. Yep.
How often do we get supermoons?
Well, I don't think it's like a predictably regular thing. It says 3 supermoons will light up the night sky in 2025. So
I'm sure they can predict it.
So let's say at least 3 times a year
good.
we're gonna have to put up with werewolves.
Yeah.
Not
potentially. This is no. I think this is a certain kind of supermoon.
Oh,
it's different in some way from your regular run-of-the-mill supermoon.
This is movie supermoon.
This is movie supermoon, and we're
3 to 4 times a year. So it varies.
So we get the quarterly werewolf attacks.
Yeah. I mean, or it's, I don't know.
Yeah. So everybody's batting down the hatches because they know what to expect now.
They're doing their prepping.
Yeah.
That's what the beginning of the movie is.
And here,
just like The Purge.
That was one of the silly things about this movie. You see people running around like, hurry, get inside. You know this is coming.
Yeah.
I had the same problems with The Purge. Because people would do the same shit. It's like, you knew.
They'd go out on a last minute snack run.
I wouldn't leave the house the day before at all.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah, and there's always so much traffic and people trying to get in these safe spots. Like, you should do that a day or two in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
You think you're going to be prepared.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, December 24th rolls around and, oh shit, I got to get presents.
The bigger question I had about all that, similar to that question, is why is it so hard to make people stay inside out of the moonlight? Like, they established they have suits that they can wear to go out into the moonlight, so they could have literally police out in those suits.
Yeah.
Enforcing like a moon-free curfew situation.
But no, they said they were suspending
emergency services because of the werewolves.
Yeah, and just maybe go if there's a basement somewhere, just go there.
Yeah.
I know not every house has a basement.
Yeah.
But
the one you're in doesn't.
The family we're following, Frank Grillo's sister-in-law and his niece, they just no blinds. The only thing keeping out the moonlight are boards nailed against the window.
Yeah.
So, too, you were just talking about him. Frank Grillo's character has stepped in to his deceased first responder brother's role in this family.
First responder brother died in the original Werewolf Night.
Yeah, and there's a lot of drama around that. There's some bad dialogue involving the widow yelling at his photograph. It's a little dramatic and corny. This movie's got a lot of those cheesy moments in it.
Yeah. Well, I also like
it hits all those beats.
Yeah.
You know exactly what's going to happen.
Lou Diamond Phillips in the beginning, they're like describing the supermoon event, and they said billions of people turned. And so, how did anybody survive?
I know. If billions of werewolves are running around, you'd think close to billions of people would be murdered.
Well, they figured out they're just big dogs.
So
they tried big dog stuff with them. Yeah, it worked for most of them.
Everybody just threw some sticks and chased the werewolves away.
Yeah, I do love how they the purge style lockdown stuff they're doing, and the guy next door who has painted war paint, red, white, and blue war paint on his face, and has a wolf killer vest, and he's just ready, locked and loaded. This is his night. And of course he gets turned into a fucking werewolf, and the werewolf has the face paint and the vest. That's good.
They couldn't
stuff.
give you more recognizable cues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were like, we got to make sure you can recognize this werewolf later.
And that's another thing about this movie that I love. It was like kind of the Hulk when he turns.
Yeah.
He still has pants on. It's very selective about what type of clothing gets torn apart.
It
to shreds.
reminds
Not
me-
pants.
Yeah.
Everybody gets their pants back.
Yeah.
But like the guy, there's at one point, several points, werewolves in motorcycle vests.
Yeah, I was always going to say it's more like
Earrings.
Gremlins than the Hulk. They dress up in costumes.
But I was just saying, like these little vests, these
Yeah.
vests are made for humans.
Yeah.
And when they get turned to werewolves, they literally get double, 3 times the size.
Yeah.
But they still have this.
Little vest.
I guess the vest changes size with the maybe it's the super moon power
Oh, yeah.
that makes the clothes change size too.
It's all inexplainable.
I love costumed werewolves,
Yes,
though.
I do love that. That was fun.
He had
And
earrings.
to
And
see
he had a nose ring.
earrings and like colored hair. Because
Yeah.
I guess they had colored hair before they got turned to werewolves.
Oh my
Still got the
gosh.
little tuft of colored hair. And that's actually one of the things I like about this movie. Like the werewolves have more agency and personality.
Yeah, and
than a
they're
lot of-
practical.
Yeah, they
mostly.
think they're not
Yeah.
just wolves.
Yeah.
They're like thinking and like they still have some ability, like cognitive abilities, like humans do.
Yeah, like he was testing the electric
Yeah.
fence and all that.
Because a lot of other werewolf movies are just more wolf than man.
Yeah.
You know.
It reminded me of Silver Bullet a lot. The werewolves in it did. Also, the fact that I love the puppetry and the man in suit monster stuff. They still have some moments of CG in this, like some blood splatter and some of the more animated moments with the werewolves.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's like practical werewolf effects,
Yeah.
which I really appreciate. And there were a lot of werewolves.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was refreshing to see that. Although I wouldn't go so far as to say like I love the movie. I feel like it had a lot of problems.
No, definitely had many problems.
It was a sincerely
so stupid,
dumb movie.
but it's camp because they took it
Yes.
seriously. They're not doing like a sci-fi original thing
Right.
where
Right.
they know it's stupid.
Right.
They took this movie pretty seriously, I think.
I was
That's
saying
why I called it sincerely.
you weren't in the room, Amy,
No.
but the guy who directed Marauders here in Cincinnati with Bruce Willis and all those guys directed this.
And all those guys.
All those guys. But if there's a lot of Cincinnati and Marauders, we haven't seen it yet. But
Oh.
I hear there's all kinds of shots, so you'll recognize all over town.
That's
Maybe
where
we
we
should
live.
watch it. I think Frank Grillo was maybe involved in that too.
I know that Frank Grillo was in town filming a movie. I don't know what, but I remember hearing that
Yeah.
from a reputable source.
Is that Stephen Miller's the director's name?
I did feel a big dick energy in the town before. I think that was him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just sensed it.
There was a
Yeah.
moment
When he got
in
off the
time,
plane.
Yeah.
You're like, there's a new alpha in town. His name is Frank Grillo.
He's a werewolf.
Did you know this movie took place in Florida, even though it wasn't filmed there?
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, because I clocked a Florida license plate.
Ah.
That's my only clue at all.
So
I could be wrong.
we had the Wolfman this year and we had werewolves this year. You didn't like the Wolfman. I haven't seen it. So is this is the ultimate 2024 werewolf movie? I don't know how many there were. How many werewolf movies there were?
There aren't a lot of werewolf movies.
No.
It's an underserved genre.
Now, eventually, you get Frank Grillo as a werewolf in this because he feels like, okay, they've run out of ammo. This drove me crazy in the way I think. Hopefully, I think Andy, you were thinking this too, probably. Why so little shotgun ammo? Like you had a whole year.
You have a whole year. He sets up his sister-in-law's house to be this like impenetrable fortress. He gives her 10 bullets. That's it. That's all you're allowed to have. Just 10.
Yeah, there's like this barely anything, and then because they have so little resources, he's like, we could stay here like this, but they'll get in and kill us. So Frank Grillo's like, I gotta go out and become a werewolf.
No, we're jumping the gun because Frank Grillo, he's a scientist, and they come up with something called
Moon screen, baby.
Yeah.
Moon screen.
so like when the moon's like the sun sets, there all these scientists are converging on this facility where they have these test subjects that got turned into werewolves, and they spray him down with moon
The moon screen, yeah,
to see if it works. It does to a certain extent, but of course, something happens and the facility gets compromised.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't last as long as they thought.
Yeah.
So like when they spray them, they're okay for a while. And by the way, that middle test subject, this guy in the second cage, such a great performance. The one who was like animalistic before they even started.
Wants to change.
Yeah, he was like pumped. That performance is fucking awesome. I think he stole the show actually from just about everybody for about a good 3 minutes of the movie. You're thinking about that guy and waiting for him to turn into a werewolf.
That scene and that whole concept of this, they were developing basically a vaccine, made me think that this movie had to have been born from the pandemic. Somebody went, race for a vaccine. What if there's a werewolf outbreak and you need a werewolf vaccine?
And then they stopped thinking right there.
Yeah.
And then they said the rest.
And then they saw the purge.
They rushed the vaccine and it turns out it doesn't work.
Yeah.
The setup is very much like Deep Blue Sea, where an extenuating circumstance happens that brings down the facility.
Right.
Same thing happens here.
Yeah. And this is kind of an inexperienced screenwriter. He doesn't have a lot of credits, but it does have that kind of young Hollywood. I mean like in the blockbuster side of it vibe, where there's not a lot of how do you say critical thinking going on.
Well, the premise itself is so silly that you can't really fault it for all the plot holes.
Yeah.
I mean, a supermoon that just turns people into werewolves.
Yeah, it's silly. It's
what were you expecting? A little more care.
And also, the moon comes out at different locations at the Earth, different times.
Yeah.
You would think that if it happened wherever, like Australia or whatever, that they would like get inside rest of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do mention Australia and saying, as we're still waiting for our sun to go down, that it's hell there or whatever.
I mean, I guess it's hard to get everybody in the United States into safe spaces, but still.
Right. Are you also kind of like, I was confused by, these are not your typical werewolves that you're used to. Like, it's not about silver bullets or any of that stuff. Or they never mention like Wolf's Bane or any of the folklore. But when they hit sunlight, they're human again. It's not that the moon goes away. That part of it, I was kind of like, what the fuck? When they like knock the windows, like in a vampire movie where you knock the window
Well, that just
open.
means the moon set. It's not directly affecting.
But like, you don't have to knock the window out for the moon to set.
Yeah, like a lot of other werewolf movies.
You're right.
They change regardless of they get hit by moonlight or not.
Right. It's just because the moon's out. And like,
you're right, Freddy. Why does it matter that the sunlight hit them? That's a weird detail. That they've.
It's like vampire movies.
Well, it's established that as soon as the moon touches you, you become a werewolf.
Right.
So like
in this, it's about the moon touching you.
Yeah, it's not about the moon coming
the moon
out.
Touch you in your no area.
Just moonlight touching you. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And also,
I'm very
like you can put tarps over yourself too as a short term.
Yeah, you could do that. This is silly.
Like the mother and the little girl, they did very little precautions to protect themselves from moonlight. You would think that they would cover themselves up in clothing and gloves and masks.
Yeah.
No, they're just in their house having a good old time. It's like a camp out for them.
And the neighbor was doing the same thing, but then somebody drove through the front of his house.
But this chick and her, they're just lights are on. They're having a little sleep
all
out.
the lights and shit on.
They're not just hiding in a closet like you should.
Yeah.
They're not like huddled in like one location with all their supplies.
Yeah.
They're just treating it like a sleepover.
Pretty much.
This is what we're dealing with, though.
Stupid people
made this movie. What a detail I noticed.
People,
I know they're not stupid.
We don't mean you're stupid. We mean your movie.
They didn't take a level of care. The little girl was wearing a shirt, so her dad was a firefighter. She's wearing a Miami Fire Department T-shirt. The word Miami is misspelled on her T-shirt. It's spelled Mamie. Maimi.
Florida.
Well, maybe, yeah, you don't know. Is there a Mamie, Florida?
I don't know. But I bet they were in Miami because they showed what looked like Miami.
Well, this is just an alternate universe, Amy, where Moonlight just turns people into werewolves.
Bienvenido on Mamie.
And Mamie is called Miami is called Mamie. And then you just got to deal with it now.
So in this parallel universe where werewolves, they function by some vampire rules.
They do.
But not even those. No, they don't even fully commit to anything in the rules department in this movie, really. But that's fine. It's a good time. It's a good time the way that Return of the Living Dead Part 2 is a good time.
And I was also confused about how you kill these werewolves. Because sometimes bullets don't take them down at all.
Yeah, they seem to not be fazed by them sometimes.
And Frank Grillo and the other scientists are trying to get to the mom and the daughter. And they just have little handguns as their protection. I guess it's better than nothing, but still, it was just very confusing about the strength level of these werewolves.
Yeah. Well, then we haven't talked about the neighbor girl who is this sweet, like just the sweet girl next door who the mom is like kind of taken under her wing a little bit, and you know she's gonna figure in again later. But man, there's some cruelty with that poor character. She gets locked out. She gets
mauled. And
she gets torn to pieces, man. But it was like, that's where it reminded me a lot of Silver Bullet was in those moments.
She was home alone.
Yeah.
Her mom was there. That's because remember, like she's in the house by herself and with the popcorn bowl.
Yeah.
And then like it's dark in the hallway and you just see this werewolf.
The werewolf was the mom, right? Yeah.
The mom turned into a werewolf. I didn't get that.
Because I said your mom's a werewolf when that happened. Do you remember that movie? With John Saxon?
Yeah, like, it was weirdly cruel what they did to this girl because she gets mauled, and then the werewolf killer neighbor takes her body and pushes it against the electrified fence. Yeah. So he's like playing with it almost.
Well, he's a big dog.
Big dog.
Big dog.
But it was just weirdly... it was just weird how they just singled her out to be just tortured.
And she's also such a sweet, like she's like, and then they're just totally mutilated and fried on a fence.
And another thing I really liked, one of the booby traps that Frank Grillo sets up for the mother and the daughter, like the sensor that sprays out pepper spray.
Yeah.
So this werewolf gets pepper sprayed. And then you see him like screaming in pain, and then he splashes himself with the water
from the bird bath. Yeah. It was so cartoonish.
It was cute.
It was real cute. Him splashing water in his eyes was one of my favorite moments in the movie. I'm glad you remembered to mention it.
My werewolves don't act like that.
If you want a really good werewolf movie and you don't want to spend a lot of money, you want to see Howl. It's real good.
Which one's that?
So it takes place on a train. And it's, close quarters, action-y kind of like this, but it's scary.
Wolves on a train?
Yeah, werewolves on a train.
Now I've seen everything.
Yep.
What were the mall people? The marketplace people? With the
the one that
gas mask and the
that showed them to the underground tunnels,
to the sewers.
Shit. I can't believe I forgot about that part completely until just now.
I think it was just like a purge gang.
They all had a bunch of cloaks on.
Yeah,
that was so 80s because in the 80s you always had like weird street gangs that were real mysterious, and they had the gas mask they had was like purple and shit. It was all colored dramatically.
It was like gold.
Yeah. And there was like a whole vibe going. It was very Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Werewolf Purge.
Werewolf Purge.
C+, maybe?
A for entertainment value.
Yes.
Yeah.
A C for movie.
For execution.
Making and stuff.
I'd give it a C-.
There's a lot to appreciate about this movie.
There's a lot to love.
A, Frank Grillo. He's always good.
It's an A+ for lovability.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so many werewolves. So many.
Freddy said that he was going to watch them turn these werewolves into werewolves.
As in past tense. See.
Or he said turn these werewolves into was-wolves.
You should be an action movie writer.
Yeah, I should.
Those were your quips that you came up with.
My quips were better than the ones in the movie because I remember, what did the kid do? Hell yeah, or whatever. There was some shit. I was like, that's not very good. That's no hasta la vista, baby.
Nope.
It didn't really. It was half-assed in the one-liner moments.
And near the end, there's a werewolf fight.
Yeah,
because Frank Grillo, like Freddy said, like he thinks that the only way to save these people is to turn himself into a werewolf,
which is like 85th on the list if you were to sit and think about it for 5 seconds.
Yeah, although he still has his dog tags on, that's how you know it's him, or he just calls them tags.
Again,
because he's a werewolf.
He's a big dog.
The dog tag should have just exploded when he turned to a werewolf.
Apparently, that's a very huge chain.
Yeah. One of my favorite aesthetic things about this movie is the big collars on the test subjects in the beginning of the movie. They have big dog collars on, and they have little gaps in them so they can grow and stretch them out too. I thought that was really well thought out. The rest of the movie, not so much. Wasn't thought out as much. It was thought of. It wasn't questioned or challenged.
And also, the moon screen. I feel you need to get it everywhere, I guess.
They only get a little bit on their face in that one scene. It seems to work.
It says that it penetrates through clothing.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
Was it this we were watching where they also mentioned nanotechnology? They did nanotechnology. Yeah, because
their eyes, the eye drops. Because I guess you can't spray the moon screen in your eyes, so you need special. Can't just wear sunglasses?
But they made a point of saying it was nanotechnology. They did liquid nanotechnology.
Just wear some goggles.
They were like, let's throw some science in their faces.
They're like, just more bullshit,
cutting edge.
Please.
Frank Grillo is a molecular biologist.
And the moon screen has to be at a certain temperature.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't work.
Now these scientists,
because they find a bodega that's empty, and they need to cool down
the vial of it.
That's right.
But they find a little girl werewolf that was kind of cute.
Yeah, they handled that. She had a dead cat.
Yeah,
she was munching on,
and he was hesitant to kill her.
Yeah.
But he had no problems. It's mowing down a bunch of other werewolves.
Mm-hmm. Those are people too, you know.
He didn't. Yeah, the big fucking minigun thing.
Yeah, he just shoots. He just shoots wildly into the street. You could have hit a bunch of baby werewolves too.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows what's out there? Oh my god,
baby werewolves.
Yeah.
Frank Grillo is ripped.
Oh yeah, they're all former soldiers too. They don't. That's one thing they're like, people are gonna wonder why they're so badass. They're not just scientists,
right?
They're they were former soldiers and scientists. So then when they all start having to run around with guns and it looks so natural, that's why.
You know, it didn't occur to me to ask that question. I don't think I realized they answered it.
Yeah, they did in the beginning.
I was just going with the flow.
Yeah, they're military scientists.
Okay. They thought of everything.
Yeah, they thought of one thing.
Yeah, when Frank Grillo was changing into a werewolf, I was like, whoa.
He's very veiny.
Yeah, I was like, you know that thing where people are doing now hear me out. We had to explain why something's hot.
Right.
Mid-transformation Frank Grillo to werewolf. That's my hear me out.
Oh, so there's some werewolf in there.
Yeah.
You're not talking about just human Frank Grillo. All right. You like that bone structure?
He likes them bad boys.
With the hind legs that kind of are backwards.
Well, do you like the kind of ripped? Because that's also there is a moment where he displays himself in the moonlight.
It's kind of like the bad boy thing. Ooh, I can change him.
Yeah. Sunlight can change him. Be his sunlight. Be his sunbeam.
My little sunbeam. My little ray of light.
Yeah. So, of course, near the end, Frank Grillo's still a werewolf, and it's that moment where the mother's like, Frank, I know you're still there.
Yeah, you gotta fight this.
Yeah, but he can't. So the sun just sets, and she shoots a shotgun against the boards that are blocking the sunlight, I guess, and instantly changes.
I don't
And also the sun doesn't rise that fast. Because the alarm goes off to let people know when the sun is supposed to set. It goes off and the sun is just there. You know how long it takes for the sun to rise?
Yeah. You're like, but they want instant results, Andy. So what are you going to do?
I guess in this world, the sun, like when you look at your app about when the sun's going to rise, like at 6:27 on the dot, full sunlight.
Full sun.
That's how it's done, son. Full sun.
You're hilarious. What you just did.
I don't deserve your praise.
No, you don't. So yeah, Werewolves.
Good time.
It is, for whatever reason, as bad as I found it to be.
Yeah.
I still loved it. And I would say keep making your silly bad movies. Mm-hmm. The world needs silly bad.
We need a sequel. We need a year 3.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be afraid to get in there and earnestly try to make it a good bad movie. There could be such a thing as a good bad movie too.
Oh yes, there are plenty of those.
You know, that doesn't mean like trying to make your movie bad. It means trying to make your bad movie good. You keep trying to make it good.
Yeah, as long as you try and you're sincere about your efforts, I think I think that really comes across on screen.
I think that's why I still resonate with the movie a little bit, because I could tell how sincere they were in it, and I like Frank Grillo.
Yeah, it's fun.
He seems like a nice guy. Don't tell me if he's not. Oh my God, he's gonna get milkshake duck.
And I was surprised at how little like Lou Diamond Phillips was in this movie.
Yeah,
because it was like he's a name and stuff like
they got him for a couple days.
Werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of sequel? We think this deserves a sequel. We'll see Werewolves.
I'd watch it.
I'd probably watch it. Yeah.
I'd like to see like how the other parts of the world approach it and everything.
Yeah.
Since it's a global event.
Yeah.
But also me and Freddy were saying, how dare they charge us for this movie?
You can't find it streaming for free.
It should have been streaming week after they left the theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's of that level. Do we want to move on to the algorithm then?
Sure.
All right. The algorithm. What an interesting thing it is.
What has your algorithm been showing you? What have you watched from your rhythm, sir?
I watched The Righteous, which is kind of a weird art house horror film on Shudder about a former priest who's now married. His adopted daughter dies, and then a mysterious stranger turns up on their doorstep, and it's like a lot of dialogue and this back and forth between this priest and this guy who may be very dangerous, who they've let come into their home and stay with them. So it's pretty good.
Are you implying it's a vampire?
No.
No.
It's all in black and white, and it kind of does have like kind of a little bit of a Twilight Zone, but it's edgier than that. It's definitely not.
So is it like a religious horror movie?
Yes and no. It could be. You could see it as religious in it, but there's nothing in it that is like confirming one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? But the characters are religious.
Is there a crisis of faith?
There absolutely is a crisis of faith. And it's not just faith in God. It's kind of
as soon
interesting.
as you said like a dead child, like, oh, somebody lost their faith.
Yeah, it's a little messier than that actually in a lot of ways, like which made it watchable. Where if it was, I'm so bored with the priest who doesn't have their faith, so they can't fight the evil. It's more of that's one thing about the character, but it's not the thing that defines the character. It could easily, I think. With most people who would have made the same movie probably would have gone that way with it, but it's kind of a wild story.
The Righteous?
The Righteous, yeah.
So was it righteous?
I liked it. I didn't love it. It's not for everyone, but if you like more artsy kind of black and white horror stuff, it's pretty decent. I watched a pretty bad slasher called The Clown at Midnight. Had Christopher Plummer in it though.
I started that one with you. Actually, that looked like it would be a lot of fun.
I mean, it's if you really want a slasher movie, it fits the bill. It's from like 99, but it feels like it was made in the 80s. And then there was Jeopardy Masters. Amy and I have been watching that.
You don't have to tell us everything.
No. I just wanted to say that popped up in the algorithm. And It's impossible.
Okay. Freddy and I have just come off of Celebrity Jeopardy and Pop Culture Jeopardy, and it's not our fault that we got dumbed down a little bit because Jeopardy Masters is for the fucking real people out there.
It's not called Jeopardy Amateurs.
No, they are hard.
There's a reason it's called Masters.
Core.
It's hard. We turned it on, and I think we looked at each other and went, we're in over our heads.
I mean, did you get any questions right?
A handful.
Like the 200, 400?
Yeah, right, I can get those.
Yeah, or stuff that was just so happened to be in our fields or whatever. There's stuff we knew, but most of them were really fucking obscure.
Make me feel stupid.
And then the last thing, I watched The Vordelak on Shudder, which is it's like a vampire movie, but it's a puppet. It's French, and it is so cool. The puppet looks so damn cool.
Is Vordelak vampire in French?
Actually, I think it's based on a novel by a Russian. I think the word itself might be Russian. I'm not sure though. But
is the vampire a puppet?
The vampire, like, it has human actors, and it's like set in like this peasant-y kind of area, in France, and this guy, this French aristocrat, with the powdered face and the high-heeled shoes and the white stockings and that whole get-up. He stumbles across this family who
a fop,
who says a fop, who says that their father went away to war. Their elderly father went away to help with this war, and if he wasn't back in 6 days, that they had to assume he was dead, and then if he came back, he'd be this monster. And the older brother comes back, and he finds out about this pact that they made with the father while he was gone, that they wouldn't take him back in if he was gone for more than 6 days. The big brother kind of makes him take him back when he shows up, but he's a puppet when he shows up. It's fucking creepy ass puppet.
Puppet as in with the strings?
As in, no, I didn't catch any strings, but it is a puppet in the most Jim Henson-y advanced. If you could imagine, like, Jim Henson mixed with fucking stop motion animation, Harryhausen.
Yeah.
If you could imagine like a Harryhausen mixed with the Jim Henson, it's just it's worth watching just for the puppet.
Puppet.
Yeah. It's really, really cool. And that's that.
You watched Hard Eyes?
Oh, I did watch Hard Eyes. Have you seen this?
Is that just came out a couple months ago?
It's on Netflix.
Oh,
yeah.
Is it? Okay.
It's
I heard it's good.
Yes and no. I mean, it's the Scream people.
Devin Sawa was just at Horror Hound a couple months ago, and he's in it, right?
Is he? I didn't catch him in it.
Pretty sure he's in it.
He might be. He's not a major character if he is in it. But it's mostly a romantic comedy more than anything.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a strange mix.
I don't think that's what you were expecting, so you didn't want it either.
I didn't know how to process it because I knew it was from the people who made the newer Scream movies, and a lot of the cast was the same too. And I wasn't a big fan of those either. But this, I think I wanted something that was more like, had a kind of a spooky element to it, but it was more just about a serial killer who was killing couples on Valentine's Day, and they're mistaken as a couple, but they're like screwball at each other, So
it's like it's a comedy, right?
Yeah, it's a comedy.
Okay.
But he said he was shooting to make it like a Nora Ephron movie.
Oh, okay.
Was what the director said. He said it's a Nora Ephron movie with the serial killer in it, basically.
Well, it's nice to see some originality in horror.
Yeah, it has some good kills in it. Like there's one that happens with a wine press. It's pretty great.
Okay. Do you guys ever see that video where the guy's like saying, "Surprise, motherfucker," and then some other guy comes up with all these other things that says, "Hard eyes, motherfucker," "Surprise, motherfucker." I bring that video up, but every time people are talking about of Hard Eyes, I was thinking about that. "Surprise, motherfucker."
So you say "Hard eyes, motherfucker."
I'll show you the video.
Yeah.
It's
if you
really
have
funny.
Netflix, you might as well watch it.
I heard it's good.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. And the mask was designed by the people that did Happy Death Day and some other stuff. That Freaky, that was it. They're like the hot shit with horror masks right now.
hot shit.
Hot, slick.
Ew.
Hot, oily shit.
Well, I assume Amy didn't watch anything.
Well, I fell asleep during a lot of things. No, I did actually. I finished a complete season of television. Reacher.
Oh, you've been talking that for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, I finished it.
Season 1?
Season 1. Yay me. I kept awake through most of it. I had to rewatch a couple of episodes.
Yeah, I was happy though because you rewatched them. I loved this show. I really had a great time.
It was really fun.
And you rewatching those episodes really, I think, is what made me really like it a lot because the fights are so good.
Yeah,
they're just so good. The choreography is really
I like watching that dude
heavy,
beat people up.
Yeah, it's refreshing.
Yeah, it sounds like another low stakes television. Too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's nothing that makes me nervous or in any way, shape, or form.
So you're going to move on to season 2 now?
I think so.
There's 3, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, is there 3 seasons?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, good for him.
Happened quick, didn't it? I finished the 3rd season of The Head, too. That was the other thing.
Yeah, I haven't really been watching much else because I keep falling asleep during things. Or it's the Drew Carey show, which I'm still working on.
Well, I'm glad you finished Reacher.
Yeah.
Season 1.
It felt accomplished.
Is it an hour-long show?
Yep.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Every week it feels like a little, almost John Grisham kind of story. More violence.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like soothing as hell.
As hell.
But also somehow really violent as hell. Yeah, you could be relaxed seeing a guy nailed to the wall with his balls cut off.
Violence is soothing.
Sometimes.
It can be.
Theatrical violence.
When you watch as much as we do.
It's just a nice escape. That's soothing in that sort of way.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I finally saw Sinners with Andy. You were absolutely right about it.
So it was worth seeing me for. So my 4 viewings are justified.
Yeah, and you're going on Wednesday tomorrow.
Yeah.
To
Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So I'm driving 4 hours in total to see it on the official IMAX screen.
On a real 70 millimeter film print, they're doing it. Right?
Crazy.
That's cool though.
Should be my last viewing, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Hey, it's my personality now, isn't it?
Yeah. To see Sinners,
Yeah.
yes. It was like when you change your personality to be Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, I saw it 8 times.
Yeah.
Sinners is really, really one of the better action horror movies I've seen ever.
Really goes along with our theme this month.
Yeah. It did. It was surprising how it kind of lined up that way.
But I watched the Ugly Stepsister. Have you guys heard about that?
Yeah. Did you like it?
I liked it a lot. It's really good.
I haven't. What is that?
It's just another take on the Cinderella story, but it's kind of told from the perspective of the stepsisters.
Yeah.
And it turns into almost like a body horror type thing.
Which is weird because that's more in line with,
with the original
was. Yeah.
And it's very Twilight Zone-y at times too. Not Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
It's got that feeling about it. And it's
it looks kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a very dark comedy.
Yeah.
And it's got an 80s vibe without being obvious about it. You know, where obviously it can't be an 80s set in the 80s because it's...
I know what you mean. It's like an 80s fantasy film.
Yeah, it feels like set in the 80s.
I saw the trailer and that's kind of what I thought too. Just the makeup too is really good.
Yeah. It's I like the twist they put on it, and it kind of reminded me of Pearl at times.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. And I would say like the end kind of let me down because it's not what I wanted. It wasn't satisfying enough for me. Because in these type of stories, you always want like comeuppance and everybody get their what's coming to them, and that didn't necessarily happen.
Yeah,
for my taste at least. It's still like a happy ending in a way, but it's just not what I wanted considering the tone that it was leading up to.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, really good performances, especially by the lead actress. Like she gets put through a lot.
Yeah.
Is this streaming or in theaters?
I saw it. I
think it's on Shudder.
It might be on Shudder. But I subscribe to something to get the free trial, so I'm gonna cancel it and watch it, so I can watch it.
Yeah, it's on AMC Plus or Shudder. Yeah, it's all the same.
Yeah, it's really beautiful look at, and some pretty, like icky parts, like ee. So you gotta be prepared for that.
I love the ones IMDb pictures, kind of like she's like, yeah, I'm a trashy person.
Yes, please show us a picture while we're doing an audio podcast.
Andy, this is one of the actors from The Ugly Stepsister. She's just like got this. It looks like a picture you would take when you're in high school and you're at a party, and it kind of fits from what I've seen of the characters that you need somebody with that attitude.
Yeah,
looks fun.
And the end is along the lines of the Brothers Grimm and the original fairy tales. You know, it's not really a spoiler, but it's kind of like Quentin Tarantino's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Something happened to Feet.
Yeah, I know something real bad happens to Feet.
To Feet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's a really good movie. Check it out.
Right on. Awesome.
Cool.
Sauce. So let's pick a new theme.
Yeah, there's the hat of themes.
Do you want to pick it, Andy?
I picked the last.
Freddie, you want to pick?
It doesn't matter to me.
I'll pick.
You do it.
I like picking.
I think it's fun when you do it.
Picking my nose, picking my butt.
Sometimes at the same time. She's nasty.
She's really digging for a winner.
Steampunk.
Steampunk. You know what steampunk is. And if you don't, it's like Jules Verne.
Right.
Sci-fi-y. So I
All
can't.
Right.
We'll try to think. I don't know if we need a pun for steampunk. We'll think about it. I bet Andy.
Again,
will
you're
come
putting
up
me
with
on the
something.
spot.
I know.
Gotta give him time.
I mean, steampunk's already kind of a silly word, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm like stuck on what we would watch.
Well, don't worry about it. We'll talk
do
about it
some
after the
research.
show.
Okay.
I can pull up examples while you're reading the Beelzebubs.
All right. Well, at the end of every show, I always say the names of our Beelzebubs. Patreon.com/NOTLP if you're interested. Matt, Brandon and Emily, Dr. Brian, Old Dirty Billsterd, Bill Fahrner, Blayne Yogurt, Jordache Jeans, Monica, Jeremy, Cassie, and Gamora, Ernest, Dave, Paul, and Shayna.
Welcome to the
Bobena.
club.
She all up in the club now.
Some examples of steampunk: The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, Van Helsing, Time Machine movies, Hellboy movies, Sleepy Hollows, even the Tim Burton Sleepy Hollow is considered steampunk.
Huh. Okay.
Because of the gadgets.
Then we'll come up with something out of that list.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them.
It'll be fun. Steampunk. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Oh, wait, I forgot to mention. Because there's a lot of things I wanted to say about Werewolves, but, someone slipped my mind. The movie just ended.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I've never seen a more abrupt ending in a movie in my life.
Wouldn't it be funny if our show just cut right there to silence?
But I just need to get that out because Frank Grillo just turns a human and movie's over.
Done. Credits. No after credits.
Finn.
Yeah, there's normally there's kind of an acknowledgement of what happened, or the little girl would make eye contact with Frank Grillo and they nod at each other or something.
We all look the same now.
But it just ended.
Yeah. That is funny. I was shocked there was no post credit.
Yeah.
But
anyway, sorry about that. I just want to get that out.
Get it out. You don't want to hold on to it.
Better out than in.
All right, bye.
All right, bye, everybody.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed when his old buddy Leatherface put on Dawn of the Dead, and Igor made the nachos in a severed human head, and they enjoy the movie with their friends. David Kessler walks the streets of London on four legs, while high above him Ellen Ripley finds some funny eggs, and Freddy laughs at Nancy in her nightmares as she begs to have just one